There's nothing that can ever be done or rationalized with these people when this comes up. That's why I think we do have to start being militant about, like, pushing them out of our spaces. And that's a threat.
Someone shared a video with me today, and I just couldn't help but watch it and have to make a video on it because it is so hysterical. The convoluted, ridiculous contradictions that are rampant throughout in this live stream. I can't with it. There is someone by the name of Emy Spens on Twitter, and I've seen her every once in a while. I actually had her blocked because of some of the stuff she was saying at me and how she was defending journalists, you know, the activist under the guise of journalism at Kotaku, former sex worker Alyssa Mercante, and she wasn't a big fan of how I talked about her and presenting my arguments and information about her. And ironically, Emy Spens herself is a sex worker who doesn't like being introduced as a sex worker, even though that's literally what her profile is and everything she's about and everything she talks about. She gets upset because people are introducing that information about her, even though it's about her. And that's not even entering this rabbit hole of ridiculousness. JT. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down how a sex worker got upset that I called her a sex worker. And if you can make sense of that, please let me know so that I can be a better person moving forward. We have Emy Spens in her live stream going on an over hour and 20-minute rant about what an awful human being I am and why Kotaku is not a problem, why they are the victim here, and why people like me are ruining the game industry. To the point that they need to start pushing me out of it so that they can take it over?
No, you don't deserve to be in our gamer space. You don't deserve to be protected if this is what you're doing.
And that's just the beginning. It gets far worse and far more contradictory. Let's talk about who this sex worker really is. According to her Twitter profile, Emy Spens is a video games, horror, itty titties, YouTube, 18 plus, and she has a link to her link tree that has YouTube, OnlyFans, Not Safe for Work, Twitch, Cam With Me, Instagram, Cash App, Fansly, Letterboxd, Twitch, Twitter app, TikTok, Instagram backup. This girl has it all. If you got the money, she's got the time for you. And you know what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If that's how she's making her living, more power to her. And I know she's going to try to twist this like they always do, but this is just calling it like I see it. And how this live stream that she has devolves into what it was is actually pretty impressive.
Would you prefer to not know? Would you prefer to take the chance of not knowing? I would prefer a private DM if someone in my life that I loved was acting unhinged like this man is.
I couldn't pull myself away from it. I was so interested as to what she was going to say next. How she was going to make more of a fool of herself than she already did in the previous comment that she makes on her live stream. It was actually, like I said, very impressive.
He brings up the fact that she's a former sex worker at every turn. That is pointed, violent language. Oh, he's just stating facts. How could it be violent? Shut the fuck up. You know why he's bringing it up. You know why he's bringing it up. To discredit her. To dehumanize her. It happened to me within 4 fucking tweets interacting with this audience.
And while she does go on a ramble for a while, it does peak when she starts to contradict herself about how she perceives things. It's all about perception with this type of person. She goes into a very long diatribe talking about why it was so horrific that I had a retweet of a thumbnail of a picture that says execution. And she extrapolates quite a bit out of that, I mean, honestly, fairly innocuous to me on first glance, second glance, and hell, still to this day. It really apparently frustrated and affected Alyssa Mercante. She did not like this person that posted it. Nobody on YouTube that I've never heard of before, a very small audience. Apparently me amplifying that was a big deal, so I took it down. And this woman just goes absolutely bonkers about that situation.
This is Alyssa, once again talking about I found your wife's Facebook, which it's really not that hard to do, and asked what she thinks about the husband of her children harassing women online and laughing when they share that someone they're supporting has been threatening to kill them for weeks. Someone made a game about literally murdering her. And that's someone that he's chummy with. On top of everything else that they've been doing for months. If you don't know what they've been doing for months, please just go to her profile and scroll through any of the replies. You can go back months, it doesn't matter. They're all going to be vile.
And as long as she's consistent in her feelings, I guess I could kind of understand where she was trying to come from, because she just consistently, constantly, forever offended by everything. Okay, at least you are consistent with your feelings. But no, she goes right into, on the next topic, talking about how it's perfectly fine for that developer dude to have that tweet about stringing up the friends and family members of any content creators that talk about the situation in a negative light, or may peel back the onion and show people exactly what's going on underneath the skin of the situation. If anyone does that, no, that's perfectly fine if you want to string those people up.
Matter, they're all going to be vile. Like, and I really mean that. I have full confidence you could do that. This is absolutely the play, someone responds. We should be doing this with all weird creeps. I agree. Track down their significant others and mothers and string them up. Everyone and they're fucking losing it over this. Like, he actually was threatening to string people up in a violent rage. Like, can we just be honest? Like, are you guys, am I stupid?
It was incoherent babbling, and it came across, honestly, and this might sound bad to say, but I don't mean it to be offensive. Someone who is just used to guys saying, "Yes, my queen," over and over and over to her, to the point where it went to her head that no one ever gave her a reality check. And that actually made her dumber for it. There was no kind of checkpoints in her life to be like, if I'm saying this, does it make logical sense? People aren't calling me out on it, so it must ergo be right. And then she would double down and triple down on her sentiments because of that. And I feel bad in a way, because no one's ever told her anything different. It's almost like being surrounded by yes men, putting you into a place where you feel like everything you say is right. And by doing that and exposing yourself on the internet, you look like a complete jackass.
This is the shit that they have to deal with every day. There's a whole cottage industry of making fake news fucking articles out of opinion pieces that could have been an email. You know? This is crazy.
It's impressive to me that Emmy finds a way to call me unhinged for being upset that someone who is employed at Kotaku, someone who goes by the guise of a journalist, contacted my wife unprovoked, searched out her information, her name, her Facebook, and tried to ruin my relationship because she was upset that I had an issue with how Kotaku was handling their professional journalism, and why I would like to see that changed for the betterment of the video game industry. And because of that, Alyssa couldn't handle it, and she had to go the extra mile for it. Now, to give full disclosure, people might say, "Oh, what caused her to do that? Why would she reach out to your wife just unprovoked? That's crazy. No one would do that." Well, one, yes, she is crazy. She's proven that multiple times. But two, she tried to blame it on me doing a retweet of a screen cap of something where I retweeted like 20 things that day that all had the hashtag #Kotaku to help push my petition. One of those things was a thumbnail of a picture and it said execution, video game, VR, whatever. I didn't look too far into it, didn't think anything of it. Alyssa lost her mind over that one particular thing because apparently she has a history, whatever that guy is. He's like a low nobody on the internet that I'd never heard of. And she apparently had like weeks of issues with him. And when she reached out to me publicly on Twitter and told me that she had an issue with it, I took the retweet down. I was like, okay, whatever, like not a big deal. Then she started DMing me. Okay? And I was like, this is starting to get a little too intrusive and invasive, and I'm not going to respond to her because a person like this, nothing good can come from it. And because I didn't respond to her, even after I took the retweet down, she decided to, at that point, proactively hunt down, search my wife's information, and contact her on Facebook. And now all these simps for Alyssa and people in her camp are bending over backwards, turning into pretzels, trying to justify her insane, unhinged behavior. Her actions of doing this, the choice that she made, and has been justified by Kotaku as no actions have been taken against her since doing this. If anything, she's been protected by Kotaku. And if anything, that's empowered the entire gaming community to rise up and say, whoa, there's an issue here, and Kotaku is protecting their own.
Phobia, the sexism, the sex worker phobia, just like the all-around hidden agendas that he thinks he's being so slick with. What I hate more than anything is that I have to give a fuck about him.
In a recently deleted post, and yes, I got screenshots because, of course, deleted, because that's what these people always do. They throw swords, and when they start getting tossed back, they scream, "Mama, help! They're talking about me, and they're being mean! It's harassment!" When you throw accusations my way, expect a rebuttal. That's how this stuff works. And she said on Twitter, if the answer is that you dislike sex work and want your audience to know that the information they're about to receive is coming from a source you find untrustworthy because they do sex work, that's perfectly legitimate answer. I just want to know if that is what it is. She was determined to find a response as to why I would introduce Alyssa Mercante as a former sex worker, why I would introduce Emy Spens as a sex worker. She's like, why are you saying what we do in our backgrounds? That has no bearing or justification in the video game world, in the landscape that we're in right now. So why you bring it up? And I'm like, all right, I'll give you your response. You're probably not going to like it, but here's why. Being a sex worker inherently implies that you lack morals. You may do anything for money. You are not a trustworthy person. Alongside this, it's often associated with women pretending to care about gaming just to create an audience of simps to grow their brand and extract money from them. If you need to be hit over the head with why it is important for me to disclose this information that you proactively promote, you may be even dumber than I gave you credit for initially. And I didn't want to be that aggressive with her, but she kept coming at me with multiple posts asking why I keep bringing up that she's a sex worker, why I talk about Alyssa Mercante's past, even though Alyssa Mercante herself is the one that offered that information to everyone, almost as like a, I'm better than you, look what I can do. I can do and say whatever I want with no repercussions. Again, going to the mantra of what Kotaku does, protecting their own with no consequences. That's exactly what set off this entire End Kotaku thing in the first place. So again, while I have the chance to talk about this, the End Kotaku petition has crossed past 3,000 signatures already on change.org. If you haven't already, please check it out. Give it a signature. I will link it in the description below. That's all I'm going to talk about with this one, because holy crap, this live stream that she had was one for the ages. I couldn't with it. These are the types of people that we're fighting against. Illogical, making no sense, throwing random accusations at us with zero facts, not researching the information, and then acting like the morally superior ones and claiming harassment when anyone tries to hit them with real facts. That's the argument that we're fighting right now. And honestly, it should be easier to win than it is. But if you're dealing with people that don't accept the truth, stuff like this starts to happen. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing.
Like, you need to be spending time with your loved ones and your family. Maybe with a doctor. And I know, like, the mental health weaponization thing. Like, no, really, truly, it's crazy to try to dedicate your life to ending a Kotaku. Maybe he didn't start the petition, but he's promoting it endlessly. And he did, right? Like, It's really frustrating.